I did, yes, okay. I did. Thanks for asking. And I was actually in the survey the questionnaire that I have, a little intake interview for you. We're gonna do this without your parents, just so you feel comfortable giving me your most honest responses for each of these. But yes, that question is on the intake. I just like to go through all of the written answers that you give me previously and go through it all over again verbally, just so I can confirm that that's how you still feel and that still resonates with you. So again, my name's Alexa. I'm gonna be helping you out. And anytime you have any questions about anything about therapy, I'd love to help you and love to kind of make this the most clear experience for you throughout this process. So we're gonna start out this form. We're gonna go through some basic information which you have written in this written form. So stuff like, again, like your name, first and last, and you prefer Basil, right?
Yeah.
Just making sure, because your parents said your birth name is Rebecca. Yes, but we will talk about that too later on. I would love to get to know you and why you identify and resonate with that name.
Yeah. Are you gonna tell my parents what we talk about?
Absolutely not. Yes. Okay. So there is something in therapy that we call like trust, right, between the client, which is you in this case, and the counselor. So in order for you to have the most trust in me and to make sure that our relationship is really strong and solid, I will not be sharing any information that we talk about in therapy with your parents. How do you feel about that?
That's a relief.
Okay. And again, we'll discuss a lot of this, a lot of stuff, about the things that maybe we have to tell your parents in case you do tell me something, right? But if anything like that comes up, I will tell you so we can have a conversation about it first. So things like if you tell me that you're going to like hurt someone, or you have like an immediate plan to hurt anybody or yourself, then that would be a situation that I might need to tell your parents. But again, we will talk about it, and I'll be very transparent with you so you can feel really safe here in anything that you disclose to me. So, all right, so that is my first question. What are your preferred pronouns?
Yeah, I prefer they, them, but it's okay if you say she or her still.
Well, I would like to honor you and like what you prefer to be called by, so I'll definitely stick to they, them.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. That's who you identify as, so it's like, who am I to mess up your identity, right? But yeah, I will definitely be referring to you by those pronouns, so thank you for clarifying that. And again, that's on your written intake, but always good to have that verbal connection too, and that agreement.
Yeah.
So what race or ethnicity do you most strongly identify with?
Yeah. So my grandparents came here from Mexico, actually. So.
Got it.
Yeah.
That's cool. How So what is the most important part of that in your household, do you think?
I mean, we try to speak Spanish in the house and stuff, but I mean, everyone in school speaks English, and of course we go to church, and on Sundays we always make a whole bunch of Hispanic food, not just with my immediate family, but like my grandparents too, and my cousins, the entire extended family, so.
Got it. So family is pretty important, right?
Yeah, I'd say so.
How important is it to you, would you say, like in your daily life and interacting with your family?
I don't know, it's hard. I feel like I don't know. I feel like I'm not Hispanic enough for them, and there's just a lot of pressure to be a certain way, and I'm not that way, and I don't know. I don't quite feel like I'm ever enough for them right now. So.
Is it more so in the way that you present yourself, or in the way that you act at your house?
I think it could be a little bit of both, but they won't call me Basil. They don't respect it. I don't know. I'm just not as Hispanic as they want me to be.
I hear you. That must be really invalidating.
Yeah.
That must be really hard to, have your parents kind of question your identity when you're so set on who you are as a person.
And I love them. I just don't want to let them down. Primarily, I don't want to let my grandparents down, because they just have no idea that I am the way that I am. So.
And what do you mean by that you are the way that you are? What part of who you are do you think will let them down the most?
I mean, I wouldn't consider myself like, that godly Catholic that they want me to be, even though I go to church with them on Sundays. Sorry, I'm playing with these.
Oh, and that reminds me too, you can play with any of these fidget toys that we have, not to deter from what you're talking about right now. We have Play-Doh, Slinkies, we got fuzzy, I don't know what these are, pipe cleaners.
Yeah, I'm making like fidget rings out of them.
Absolutely. And I would love to talk, I think this is a wonderful path that you're going down right now, and talking about your grandparents and like their acceptance of you. I want to touch on that later, but like, what kind of like, who, and it doesn't have to be a person, it could be an animal, it could be a fictional character, a celebrity, an author, even an idea, you know, or even like a person who you created, even an imaginary person. Who do you admire?
I really admire Frida Kahlo.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow. And may I ask, well, I don't want to, what about her do you admire the most?
She's just so strong and like unapologetically herself.
And is that a quality that you feel like you resonate with?
I wish I had that. I think I like her so much because she's so different than like how I see myself, I guess.
Yeah, so different than how you see yourself. Oh, that's an interesting thing to say, but you admire her too, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like she is like the
goal, I guess. Yeah.
Interesting. I think we can probably find more similarities and differences between you two, so you just wait. I think this is gonna be really fun for you in terms of like really figuring out where your strengths are. Can you just describe to me like your home life, like who lives at home with you?
My mother, my father, and then my 2 younger brothers.
2 brothers. So it's just the 5 of you in your home, right? And then your grandparents, you said you see every Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Cool, for church. Okay, and then what, you said, did you say Catholic?
Yeah, we're Catholic. Well, they're Catholic, I guess.
Okay, and that's your family's connection to like their spiritual connection.
Yeah.
Let's see, are there any concerns now that you have about your family relationship? I think we kind of touched on them before, but let's kind of go more in depth about that.
Yeah, it's just like a lot of pressure and expectations, and I go to a Catholic school too, so private school, and it's like connected to the church too, so it's like I have no really escape from it, and they just like want me to be a certain way that I'm not, so like if they knew that I was here right now, it would not be a good.
If your school knew that you were here, or
no,
if your parents did. Got it. Yes. But yeah, I think it's great that you brought up before how this will be strictly confidential, right?
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Absolutely. And we'll brush up again on like some of the instances where I'm going to have to tell them things, but
what are those?
So there are a few different things that if you were to tell me that I would have to report you. So if you if you threatened harm to someone else or yourself, or if you threatened violence to a school, like if you told me a tangible threat, like if you were going to go to school and like threaten a lot of violence on people, then I would have to report you, and for the safety of others, right? So it mainly concerns safety. But these are all really good questions, and these are questions that you should be asking throughout the therapy process, and I feel really honored that you're comfortable enough to start asking me these questions.
Yeah.
And if anything comes up to any more, I'll let you know as they come. But we're on the same page. I want to try to make this process as de-magical as possible. De-magical.
So you're telling me therapy is not a magical experience?
It could be if you want it to be, but it's not meant to be confusing, I think is what I'm trying to say. So the word, I don't know if you've ever heard the word demystify before. It sounds really fun, right? Demystify. Yeah. I feel like I need to use spirit fingers with that. But in this case, demystifying is something like making things so that they're easy to understand. Because therapy shouldn't be something that's out of your reach, right? You should be able to, just like my water bottle, just reach for it and take a sip and have it help you feel better whenever you want, right?
That's cool.
Yeah. Like so it's just another way of doing things. The next question I have, I want to know about, and I know during your written intake, this is one of your presenting concerns, and I'd like to talk to you a little bit more about it. But what's your relationship with your peers like at school?
I've got like one best friend. And that's about it. It's just hard because I don't identify with a lot of them. And so I'm scared that like they won't actually like accept me if they knew like that I was gay. So
That's understandable too. That's a really like,
just get anxious going there.
and that's one of the reasons that you think you feel anxious, right? Is because I was going there and feeling like you might not be accepted by your peers.
Yeah, I just feel like I have to pretend to be something that I'm not, and I just don't.
And we'll get talking about feelings too soon. So if you feel like you don't have the words to like describe what's happening inside of you, even if you just like point to a part of your body that feels something, like when you go to school, or like when you wake up in the morning and you have to get on the bus to go to school, if there's a part of you that feels.
I'm starting to like feel that way right now though, like when I have to go to school, my chest gets like super tight, and like even just talking about it just like kind of stresses me out a bit, I guess.
Well, I don't mean to bring you to a place of anxiety right now. Let's think about the reason that you do like going to school, your friend. I want to hear more about them. Can you tell me a little bit more about your friend? What's their name? And oh my god, oregano.
Yeah.
And your basil.
Yeah, we call each other the herb sisters.
That's so, it sounds like you guys have a really good bond. Like a really strong bond.
She's actually the reason I'm here, so.
Oh yeah? Can you elaborate on it? Tell me more a little bit.
Yeah. She knows that like I struggle with I don't know, some like anxiety, and I can get sad, but like big sad, like. And so she was telling me that she was seeing like a counselor and that I could possibly benefit from it. So here I am.
I'm glad that she is benefiting enough that she is recommending you to do this experience too, because I feel, just based on what we've talked about so far, I feel like you could really benefit from an experience like this.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, just like some hope, right? Something so maybe you don't feel so sad or so nervous anymore, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I am enjoying playing with the Play-Doh, so.
There's at least a win. There's a win. That's good.
You're pretty cool too.
I appreciate it. The feeling is mutual. So let's talk about some individual concerns that you had. We kind of like branched into that from peer relationships. And we're gonna set goals separately from this, but I just kind of wanna know what, regardless of what your parents say, I want to know what you, Basil, have to say about why you've come to therapy, right? And what you would like to see change.
I don't know, I get really anxious really easily.
Mm-hmm.
And it's annoying because I feel like nobody else does. So.
Why do you say that?
I don't know. I don't see like other people having like panic attacks or shutdowns.
Mm-hmm. I think there might be a little bit more than meets the eye that we'll talk about later, but I thank you for talking to me about your feelings of anxiety, or what physically happens. You said tightness in your chest, right?
Yeah.
Are there any other feelings that you associate with like feeling anxious or going to school?
Primarily the tightness in the chest. I get like shortness of breath, and my brain just doesn't stop. Like it's just on overload, like thinking about like all of the horrible things that could potentially happen while I'm at school, or like what people would say if I found out that I was,
Mm-hmm. For sure. I can see how that would be a really like constricting situation too, even just in the way that it's presenting itself and the way that you're presenting, and maybe how many options you don't have. It's constricting, right? So it might be kind of how you're physically feeling that constriction in your chest, but I want to give you more options that you can use to combat these feelings, so that hopefully that's not what you need to resort to, right? And just kind of like taking those feelings as they come and being able to label them. Because right now it seems like we might benefit from being able to attach words to those feelings, right? And kind of taking them as they happen to you. What'd you make there?
A pretzel.
Okay. I like it. Why pretzel? Are you hungry?
I don't know. I was like, I wonder if this is how they make them.
That looks like it, right?
Oh no.
I mean, so you like pretzels?
They're pretty good.
Are you a hard or soft pretzel type person?
I like them both.
Okay. Yeah.
That's a hard choice to make.
That is really challenging. You know, you go to a good baseball game, have a soft pretzel with some mustard, but there's also
the hard pretzels, super salty.
Just like one of the hardest decisions you're gonna have to make, right?
Right.
Now I want to move to a little bit more about you. So less of like the technical stuff, technical jargon, you know, kind of like what makes you tick, and trying to point out like where your strengths are right now. Because whether you know it or not, there is a strong person right here, and I want you to see the strong person as much as I see this strong person.
Yeah.
Right, even off the bat, some of the answers that you've been giving me, I just see that you have a lot of heart and you have a lot of drive to get better. Because even coming to therapy, right, that's just one step to try to better yourself and try to make things more manageable for yourself. What are some things that you like to do?
Yeah, sometimes I like to scroll through TikTok with oregano.
Yeah.
I don't know, I really like to like color and paint and like do anything like really creative. Oregano, like we do that together, which is fun.
Yeah, that seems really collaborative.
Yeah, I like being outside too, but just like when it's sunny though.
Yeah. Yeah, not like, I mean, it's a little cloudy today, right? So would this be like a good day to go outside?
No.
I don't know. It's a little windy too.
I don't like the wind at all.
No. Yeah, neither do I. It's a little bit too much. It kind of reminds me of like when I'm mad, you know, It's just really unpredictable.
See, and it makes me more anxious, I feel like.
The wind does?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about the wind makes you more anxious?
It's
the
like,
fact that it pushes you physically, or the fact that it
it's like cold and it howls at me.
Ooh, the sounds that it makes too. That's interesting.
Yeah. I feel like when it's windy, I just like rush to get inside. Not because of the actual breeze on my body per se, but just, I don't know.
Yeah.
It makes me feel.
Makes you feel. That's cool. You're saying so many things that I really want to go into right now, but it's only the intake, you know? So we gotta go to the next question, unfortunately.
Sorry.
No, don't apologize. I love this.
Oh my
This is
Play-Doh.
wonderful. No, yeah, right, just make a little Play-Doh mask or something. Yeah. What activities are you successful at? Or like what other people would say that you're good at, right?
I can play hopscotch.
Hey! maybe some session will set something up.
Hopscotch.
Oh, you think I'm kidding?
You're being serious.
I think we can get that done. I definitely think we can have that arranged. So the next question, your answer was Frida Kahlo. It's the important influences that you have. So we already touched on that, but I really liked that you said that.
I also do play soccer. I didn't say that.
Ah, soccer. Yes.
Ever since I switched to the Catholic school, I just hate it.
Yeah, you don't like playing at the school that you're at? Do you think, or what's different about the experience at the Catholic school?
It's not as like team-wise competitive. It's more like individually competitive.
Oh, so it's like you're kind of like head-to-head with your teammates instead of,
No one's like, and I don't feel like strong relationship with any of them. Oregano plays, but that's what
Does Oregano play for the same team at the school that you go to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is really nice.
Yeah, that'd be nice to have a friend.
Sorry.
That's cool.
I'll leave it.
I can always grab it. It's just right there. Hold
I
on.
don't know why. Are you sure? I don't know why I started tossing it.
No, I mean, like I said, you do what you want with the Play-Doh. That's still within the bounds of, that's within the rules, so you're good.
I'll put it away.
There aren't too many rules around here. I'll let you know when you start getting close to crossing one, but I think you should be okay. How would others describe you? Or you could say, fill in the blank. I am like, ...
I am like, this might sound depressing, sorry.
as long as it's honest, right, and how you really feel.
I'm like a leaf in the wind, helpless to what's happening around me.
Kind of like what we were talking about with the wind before, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So you are the leaf.
I am the leaf.
Is that how you feel when you walk outside?
That's how I feel when I'm around people.
Yeah.
Anyone, family, school.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, just that unpredictability of being around others, or are you afraid of, because what the leaf sounds like is that you're more concerned with how others will move you and judge you.
Yeah,
rather
like
than how
the leaf can't control where it's going.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I am very excited to show you ways that you can really put control into your own life. You get excited, girl. You get excited because we're gonna have a lot of fun with that. I'm really glad that you share that metaphor with me, and it's not depressing. It's how you feel, and I think that should be honored, right? So let's get all the labels out. That's how you're feeling in that moment, right? So we're gonna honor that, and then like we're gonna see how many more feelings we can get, and that we can label, and that we can really like process together. Now, all right. So essentially, I'll tell you right now. I'm gonna outline to you what therapy is gonna look like, right? So right after I outline this to you, we're gonna start with our collaborative goal formation, and that's where you and I are gonna kind of, do a little back and forth and find out what goals that you want to tackle in therapy. Like really concrete goals that you can really work for, not anything that's, I want to be a better person, because that's not really not attainable. It's not concrete in the sense that you can't measure it, right? So how do you measure being a better person? We're gonna find goals that we can either count or measure or, kind of have in our back pocket as like, was today better than yesterday? Let's look at our goals and like, let's look at the count, right? Of like what we're deciding to count, which we will decide on in this next session or next section. So essentially, I want you to come to me with whatever you're feeling that day. And sometimes I'll have activities that we have to do. Sometimes that may not fit for you in that moment. So we're gonna be very flexible with this. And you're gonna have an opportunity to express yourself and to really like be vocal with what you're needing. And I might be able to meet you halfway with that, with some things that I have. And if not, then we can sit here and we can kind of sit with our feelings for a little bit, right? Because sometimes just being listened to is a really unique experience that not many people get, right? So we're gonna kind of get used to kind of how that give and take, how we're gonna talk about our feelings more, right? Again, that labeling of emotions, and then just our ability to sit with our feelings and to not judge ourselves for how we're feeling, right? Even in the sadness that you feel, and sometimes in the depressing thoughts that you have, to not really, to allow yourself to sit in that sadness, right? That shouldn't be shamed. I really hope that, you feel comfortable doing that, and that I can at least help you feel comfortable in that. That would be just a great step in the right direction. So we'll keep doing this for about 50 minutes at a time. I think the sessions are about 50 minutes. And we'll just see how it progresses. And I always am willing to get I love feedback. So that's a huge thing. So always your honest opinion about everything. So let's form some goals. All right. I think I heard you speak multiple times about feeling anxiety around going to school, right?
Yeah.
So, and you would like to reduce that, right?
Definitely.
So what do you think would be a good goal to have regarding those feelings that you have, or that tightness in your chest when you go to school?
I don't know, stop it from happening?
Yes, but how are you going to do it, right?
I don't know.
Let's start with, how about a general goal, right? So just one big overarching goal, super easy, reducing my anxiety symptoms when I go to school.
Sounds good to me.
Right? So that's like a big general statement.
Yeah.
And we could do that maybe by counting the amount of times that our chest gets tight when we go to school, and seeing if that decreases as you start to learn ways to calm yourself down, maybe like engage in certain breathing practices that can help eliminate that sensation physically. So let's do that. How about reducing those anxiety symptoms and then being able to reduce the number of times that your chest gets tight on your way to school. I think that's a pretty cut and dry
Sounds good.
first goal. Okay, all right. And I think another thing that I have in my notes here is that your feelings of sadness, and you would like to hopefully alleviate that, those symptoms as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So based on what we did for the first goal and kind of how we authored that goal to fit that, to fit those feelings, how would you word a goal? Something productive, something that gives you the power to do something, right? Something action worthy.
Yeah.
How would you phrase that in terms of how sad you're feeling?
So like,
Or depressed rather.
reduce my sad symptoms.
Yeah, that's good.
Haha.
Yes, it's good. It's forming goals. And even just in the way that you were smiling, it's kind of like when you say it like that, doesn't it give you the feeling I'm doing something about this?
Yeah, it does.
Right? It gives you the power a little bit in this situation.
It feels good.
Yep.
It feels really good that my parents aren't part of it.
Yeah. And I would love for you, and we'll talk about that, because and as we get to know each other better, we'll explore those feelings around your parents too, and maybe potentially how, like if you decide that you do want them in your life, to how to incorporate them or how to not, right?
Yeah.
So the power is in your hands, right? It's all about what you want to do in that moment, or in like what suits your best interests, right? So I'm with you every step of the way, whatever you decide. Okay, let's see. How about, so around the anxiety symptoms, I think we can kind of do a little breakdown in terms of interacting, right, with people.
Yeah.
Especially after that metaphor that you said about leaf and in the wind and people.
Yeah,
or
but
the
I
wind.
don't, there's nobody else that I would like want to be friends with other than oregano right
Mhm.
now. Because
Mhm.
everybody at the school is just stupid.
Everyone, maybe if you give them a chance, but I don't want to put that pressure on you. But just, we're going to keep all of our
That makes
avenues,
me anxious.
we're going to keep our avenues open, and we'll discuss that one later, okay? But how about just in order to maybe reduce the anxiety that we feel around talking to other people at school, maybe we can find strategies that we can just get by with them to make sure that we don't necessarily have to be their best friend, but that we're not.
But it can be like
feeling judged.
civil. Right?
Yes, correct. So maybe learning different skills that we can use when it comes to working with others, or
Social skills.
yes, you got it. You hit the nail right on the head.
Cool.
I like that.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
It sure does. It sure does. You are right on it. So we have goal 1, 2, 3. We have reduced anxiety symptoms, reduce depressive symptoms, and work on, I'm going to use your words here, social skills. I like that. And I'm hearing a lot too in our conversation about like how others don't accept your identity, or how you don't feel like others accept your identity. How do you feel about your own identity?
I don't know. I feel like it's just been like pushed down because like part of the whole reason my parents started sending me to this new Catholic school was to try to like remove my gayness, and so I just feel shame, I guess, or like embarrassed
Like about your
by
identity?
being who I am.
Got it. By being your like true self.
Yeah, and I mean, you've probably even heard it in this session, like I still can't like necessarily comfortably say it out loud around people, and I think it's because I'm constantly just having to like hide who I am. Yeah, I want to be more confident in who I am, like Frida Kahlo.
All right. That's a good,
I was gonna slam it, but I was scared it was gonna like run away.
like get my, like
Yeah, I
get
made
or
you the
something.
face. Run away.
I
It's like you
appreciate
can't run
your
away.
Yeah, run away. Just start
Up and over. It's the wind.
There it goes. But I hear that it may be beneficial for us to maybe explore your identity,
Yeah.
right? Because it seems as though when you try to like at least share yourself with others, it gets rejected, right? So if you can get more, like if we can explore, or you can explore your identity, I can help you explore your identity a little bit more, and maybe if you get a little bit more resolute, if that makes sense, like kind of solid and steady in who you are, like a rock, right?
Yeah.
Like
I like
who
this.
you are.
I understood from the action.
Yes, so very like. I feel like you're a hands talker too,
I
especially
am.
since you almost threw a slinky at me.
I did. Not
that's
intentionally.
okay.
I don't want to hurt you.
And that's a-okay. Yeah. Intervention, we're gonna do like a little bit of psychoeducation, right? So it basically all psychoeducation means is it's just a way for you to understand maybe how your thoughts work or how your brain works in certain capacities, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in this case, the lesson that we kind of want to learn today is how your thoughts and your feelings are not a result of the things that you don't like, right? So for instance, your thoughts and feelings of anxiety and nervousness and frustration around school isn't because of school, right?
What?
Bear with me. It's because of how you feel about school. And I want to do a little bit of drawing with you
Okay.
so that you can understand that.
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess.
Yeah, and it might not, and that's okay. Honestly, if it doesn't make sense, we'll talk about it more. But I want to find something that makes sense to you. So we're going to do something with a little bit of expression here. I have a bunch of Sharpies, so make sure you don't get it on the table.
Okay. I'll try not to.
I have a clipboard. Wait, let me get one piece of paper so the other pieces of paper don't get messed up. Oops.
Sounds good.
Here we go.
Thank you.
Absolutely. There you are. And all of your colors here.
So many.
So many colors.
Happy.
Yeah, there it is. I had to put that one in there when I brought these here today. I was like, it cannot have yellow.
Right?
Even though most people don't like it, but it's a good thing I packed it today because you like yellow, right? And we have all these yellow things. So in order to illustrate this concept, I want you to draw you, first of all. Draw a representation of yourself on the paper in any place, on the bottom half. Yeah, so anywhere below here. Just in whatever corner you want, doesn't really matter where, but just draw you. Then we'll see where we go from there. Looks like you used the copper.
I did.
The copper one. And highlights with the yellow.
Sorry if I'm making your marker bad.
No, don't even sweat it. Oh, I noticed that you drew a smiley face on yourself too.
It's like a half smile.
Okay.
I drew a soccer ball too.
It looks like, yes, I see that. And you are a wonderful artist.
Like my stick figure?
Yeah, the soccer ball seems like it's pretty core to who you are, if you decided to include it too. The next thing I want you to do here is I want you floating above yourself, not necessarily in a cloud, but just pretend they're floating and flying. You're gonna draw reasons that you like to go to school. There are a few, because you've said them, so I want you to really try your best to. And that's it, right? Or do you have more?
I like.
Or a favorite subject that you have? Okay, great. Okay, great. And then just let me know when you're done, and then we'll go to the next one.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, and now I want you, in the same thing as this, what you like, reasons you like to go to school, I want you to draw reasons you don't like to go to school. Let's limit it to three. Three of the top things that you really don't like, you know, when someone's like, you have to go to school, or when, you know, you see the bus coming, or, okay. So you're using the purple Sharpie for those. It's the opposite of yellow.
It also looks like the devil emoji on my phone.
It's true. You're absolutely right. And just let me know when you're done.
It's a very bad whistle, but it's a whistle.
I can see. I'm caught between whistle and hair dryer for that one. But I like whistle.
I tried to draw like the.
Okay. I think it's the other. Okay.
Whoops.
We're gonna draw now. The next thing you're gonna do is I want you to draw a thought bubble over you. You can have like little ones leading up to it, or you can do whatever you want with this one. This is all you. A lot of thought bubbles. Nice.
With lots of thought.
All right. Very cool. And now I want you to go through each of these items, right? So we're going to start from your right. We're going to travel across here. And I want you to think about where they make you feel. So when you hear the name oregano, how does that make you feel? Where is it on your body? And I want you to draw a little dot on your person. Cool. Now I want you to take that marker and draw a line from oregano to your thought bubble and then to the spot that you drew on your person. Great. All right. Now I assume this math problem stands for math, right?
Yeah.
So with that math problem, I want you to think about where that makes you feel. Cool. And now I want you to draw a line from that same thing, math problem, to where it makes you feel. Great. And we're going to do the same thing for the remaining three items. So whistle. And then one more. Great. So what can you tell me about these lines?
That even the good stuff and like the good stuff and the bad stuff, I feel primarily like here up
So a lot of sensations like in that,
in my chest and in my throat. And
regardless of whether it's good or bad, right?
yeah.
What about these? Where do these dots have to go before they get to your body?
My mind.
Yeah, they go to your brain first, right? So in order for them to travel to the places that you feel them, they have to go through your mind.
I have to like think them.
And then that's where your mind relates that to all these different parts of your body, right? So those feelings of love you feel when you think of oregano, you think of that first, and then you feel the feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that makes sense.
All right, and it looks like we're out of time, unfortunately, but I'm really glad you were able to do this
Me too.
and get all this stuff done. I was able to learn a lot more about you. I really appreciate you deciding to pursue counseling. It's very brave.
This was fun.
Yeah, and you can totally keep that if you want. And you can even show the pretend audience that we have over there.